You're listening to the Undefeated Bears podcast with Jay Clark, releasing every Monday at 9 a.m. all season long. Follow us on Twitter at Podcast Bears for the latest Undefeated Bears updates.
Welcome back to the Undefeated Bears podcast. It's your boy Jay Clark, man, and thank you for all those who have returned. Thank you for the first-time listeners. Thank you to those who will be coming. This week, man, we're going to start with keeping it real. We're going to start with keeping it real, man, and this week's story is about kicking, y'all. It seems like the first couple of weeks of training camp have been dominated by the kicking headlines, man. And you know we had to talk about it with this team after the heartbreaking loss that we took last year in the playoffs. But the kickers, you know, they seem to be getting some press, you know. A couple cats, Elliott Fry, Eddie Pinero, first from South Carolina, the latter from Florida. You know, these some young cats, 24, 23 years old. You know, they've been drilling some kicks, and apparently the media has been liking it. You know, I personally don't really, care for the training camp kicking coverages. You know, it seems like one guy went 6 for 7 one day, another cat went 7 for 8 the next. You know, I don't want to throw any shade at them, but, to me, if you're a kicker and you've made it to this stage in kicking life and you're in the NFL, I would expect you to be drilling a couple training camp kicks in front of the old Bourbonnais crowd. I say let's hold our breath till we see one knockdown in a playoff game or a late season game that matters. You know, I'm not going to get overhyped about going, 95% on preseason kicks. So let's find out who makes the roster, and, at the end of the day, we got to roll with them. And now, to the point scorers on the offensive side of the ball, and we got to start with QB1. Mitch has been playing solid. The first year, oh my gosh, if you were watching that season, the man didn't have the receiver to throw to within a half mile. You know what I mean? I don't know what we called our receiving corps that year, but from then to now, thank God. That's all we can say. But, last year was a solid season, man. I thought he played really well for the most part. I thought he did his job. He did what he was called to do. He ran the offense, as well as he was capable of running it, I believe, last year. He had the huge game against Tampa Bay, 6 touchdowns. Man, he lit it up that week against Tampa. Had a late season injury, missed the Thanksgiving game, came back strong, finished out the season, and had a, solid playoff game, man. Put us in position to win. So just looking at the numbers, man, I'm looking at QBR, Some people have their reserves about the rating system, but it's ESPN's quarterback rating system. Factors in yards, rushing yards, penalties, the amount of plays they call, et cetera, et cetera. A little deeper than your basic quarterback rating of years past, and I'm looking at the list, man. I'm going to read you the top 5, starting from 5 down to 1. There may be some surprises on this list, man. Number 5 is Andrew Luck. Number 4 is Ben Roethlisberger. Number 2 is Drew Brees. Number 1 is Patrick Mahomes, the league MVP. Now, some of you may think number 3 was perhaps Tom Brady, maybe Phillip Rivers, maybe Matt Ryan. Mitch Trubisky was number 3 in the league in QBR, man. According to ESPN, the man was the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL. So, I feel like outside of Chicago, Mitch Trubisky gets no love. Zero. Zero love. People don't even think he's an NFL quarterback. I don't know what's with the disrespect, man. 71 total QBR. That's out of a 100-point scale, man. And, the only guys ahead of him are Mahomes, Drew Brees. Tom Brady's number 6. Number 3 in the league, man. Looking at the running back core, you got Tariq Cohen coming back, man. And Oh, I love watching Tariq Cohen play football. May I say that first? He's just a hell of a player to watch. Explosive with the football. We got Mike Davidson over from Seattle. I haven't seen him play much, but from what I understand, he's a solid back. He's going to play his role, do his job. David Montgomery's been getting a lot of love. So far in training camp, it seems like David Montgomery's been everything as expected. Nagy said he's like coaching a veteran running back when he's talking with him. I think he's going to be a solid football player, step right in for Jordan Howard and deliver. At the end of the day, these three guys together, make one heck of a running back. But none of them are going to be the lead back, per se. Tariq Cohen's going to be all over the field. David Montgomery probably will get a majority of the carries. And Mike Davis, he's going to get some touches too. So this running back core they're pretty solid. They're not going to blow you away. But I think each and every one of them will contribute, and I think they're going to contribute very well. Now, there's a lot of mixed opinions on this receivers group, man. Definitely hit me on Twitter at Podcast Bears. Let me know what y'all think. Because me personally, I'm looking at it on paper, man. I'm looking at the collection of talent, what these guys have done either in the league already, in college, or what they've done for us. You go down the list, we have Allen Robinson. You'll probably see Anthony Miller start on the other side of the field. Taylor Gabriel at the slot. Anthony Miller will get some play at the slot as well. After that, you're looking at guys like Javon Wims, who had a huge preseason last year. Big name for diehard Chicago fans, I would say. Riley Ridley, who we just drafted. Cordell Patterson. Definitely do a lot with him. I think he might even line up at running back sometime. See him at the slot outside all over the field. This receiving course, man, they're not bad. On paper, they're not bad, man. I hate to be overly biased, but we got some size, we got some speed, we got some good route running, we got some experience, and we got some depth, man. For a receiving group, I think we got all things covered, man. I think we got some explosive players. I love Anthony Miller as a route runner. The man is always open. 17 is always going to be open. Watch the tape. With Mitch getting these guys the ball, I don't see why we can't score over 25 points a game, man. I really don't. I don't see why with this defense giving us the ball, handing it up on a platter, like chopped sushi, we should put up 25 a game, no problem. We should be a top 5 offense once again statistically. With the skill positions we have, with the athlete of a quarterback we have in his arm, no reason in the world. Top 5 offense. Book it. And to wrap it up about the offense, let's take a look at the old hog mollies and tight ends. We got the same group coming back, and I'm happy with that. We got Charles Leno and Bobby Massey at the tackle positions. Young boys, James Daniels, Cody Whitehair in the middle, along with the longtime vet, Kyle Long. I'm happy with our offensive line, man. I think a lot of our bad press comes from years past. I think a lot of people are just naive, about what's really going on down in the trenches here in Chicago. I think we got a solid group, man. And with the tight ends, Trey Burton, missed that playoff game for us. Some of us Bears fans will never let him live that down. I do think we needed him out there just for a little versatility. We got Adam Shaheen. They're saying he's healthy, man. And, they were calling him Baby Gronk. After we spent that second-round pick on him, I'll admit I was pretty excited about him coming out of school, man. Hopefully he stays healthy and contributes to the cause this year. So O-line tight ends, I can say I'm satisfied. I'm comfortable with it, man. Matching them up with the running backs that we have, the receiving core, led by Mitch, I ain't got to complain the world, man. I think we solid up front. And for my big ticket of the day, man, for the big ticket segment, I want want to talk about Tariq Cohen, man. What in the world is the disrespect I hear about Tariq Cohen, man? I've been listening to a couple different guys on the radio and national media, and oh, he's too small. He can't carry the load as a primary back. He has fumble issues, which is true. But man, why so much doubt and hate on Tariq Cohen, man? Kid's a jack of all trades. Has been one of the biggest playmakers in the NFL in his first couple seasons in the league. The man has done nothing wrong. And quite frankly, he's not even a running back. Tariq Cohen is a football player. Tariq Cohen is an athlete. Tariq Cohen is a jack of all trades. The man will play running back. The man will probably take snaps. He's going to play slot receiver. He's going to play out wide. He's going to play at the wing. Tariq Cohen will be all over this field. Maybe he won't be the quote-unquote starting running back. But Tariq Cohen will dang well go over 1,000 yards, all purpose. I'm going to say he's going to bring back a punt this year. And best believe he's going to be one of the most explosive offensive weapons in the NFL. So that's my big ticket of the day, man. Tariq Cohen. Tune out these haters, man. Keep doing the damn thing.
Let's go Bears, ringing through the stadium.
Well, that wraps it up for this week on the Undefeated Bears podcast. Bear Nation, man, definitely hit me on Twitter at Podcast Bears. Let me know what you think of the show, things you disagree with, things you agree with. Would love to have a conversation, man. I will hear from y'all next week with some preseason week 1 feedback. I look forward to it, man. Y'all have a great week. Blessings.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Undefeated Bears podcast. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for the latest updates. Win, lose, or draw, Bears fans remain undefeated.